So, welcome everyone, this is another subscriber game. I'm casting this bit of fun on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, of course you could have watched this live, but we are here, so things should be pretty good. Now, we are going in here, and yeah, it's going to be coming down, and it is on Acklon Wastes. Acklon Wastes is a cool map. Down in the bottom right position, spawning as the Red Zerg. It is none other than GhOstLV. And his opponent up in the top left, the Blue Terran player. I know he's watching live on Twitch right now. He submitted the game. He's pretty awesome. It is Azamato, who plays for Eternity. I don't know. Well, I do know of Eternity Gaming. They're pretty cool. If it's the Eternity I'm thinking of. Excuse me while I take a quick swig of tea. God, tea is good. I forgot to take a swig of tea during the break there, which meant that all the YouTube VODs now have me drinking tea. Top secret, by the way, for any YouTube viewers, I love tea. If you were watching on Twitch, you'd know that because I drink tea so much on my stream. Tetley may as well, or PG Tips should actually sponsor me. I'm just saying, it would be a great investment for them. Tea is not prevalent enough in esports. I'm just saying, energy drinks are great and all, but tea is fantastic. So, anyway, I'm talking about tea so much I forgot to talk about StarCraft. Barracks coming down here, waiting to see whether we're going to get a gas. Yes, there we do, because Reaper openings are great. It's like the meta game of all meta games. It works nicely. I'll be interested to see whether Azamato gets out just one Reaper or a couple more. The reason one Reaper is good is you definitely get scouting information. You can harass a bit. I personally like the one Reaper against Zerg, actually. You can go for two, but if you get two out, you've got to force quite a few lings, and I personally feel the added expense in knock-on effects of getting that second Reaper aren't necessarily justified with the additional damage you can do normally, unless your micro is really good. And the reason for that is because one Reaper can harass the drones, it can run out, heal up with combat drugs, and basically try and force out a couple more lings, and you can micro it, heal, come back, you can pick off the lings, force lings, reduce the drone count due to the lava being spent on Zerglings as opposed to drones. Everything's good. Two Reapers just means you have to do all of that, but more. And better, and with the 2 queens out, 4 queens out, that kind of timings and stuff, it just gets harder to make it work, like really quite a chunk harder. So anyway, we are seeing now that we are going to be coming in, and yeah, just not too much going down at the moment. Obviously the gas coming out, spawning pool is a hatch first, all pretty sound. Reaper is on its way, still gas being mined, Mule getting called down. And yeah, are we going to see another Reaper come out? That's just the big question that I want to know. One Reaper? Are we going to get a second one? Yes, we will. Okay, so this does actually just put a little bit of pressure on Azamato to deal a bit more damage. Because if you get 2 Reapers out, as I said, you don't necessarily have to kill drones. That isn't... There's other ways you can damage the Zerg as opposed to just killing drones, and that's forcing lings. So you see a lot of pro players kite Zerglings for a long time. They'll just kite them around, pick them off one at a time. That's fine, because if lots of Zerglings are getting made, that's not drones. So you're achieving the same thing as killing drones, actually slightly more, because you're actually keeping the drone count consistently lower, which is good. But yeah, one drone taking a couple of hits there, will get pulled away. Notice the Zerglings already more in production, 4 in total, 1 gets killed. Got to be a bit careful because 2 are coming from behind. That's where you can get surrounded and you've got to be a bit more careful. But look how many lings are getting forced at this very early stage. The second Reaper is now coming into combat drugs, already healing up the first one, just making sure that it's going to be able to keep harassing. But note the queens are now. Queens definitely do help considerably up against Reapers. Just because they're ranged, Reapers can't really kill them. First Reaper is getting very low on health, but does just escape. Good control. As long as that stays alive, it's good. Back at home, the command center coming up, factory coming up, the reactor coming up. 2 Reapers following up into 4 Hellions. With those 2 Reapers is really great. The Queens alone, and Queens and Lings even, will struggle to defend it unless you get out like 4 Queens. And look at this, 16 Zerglings on their way. I'd say this has done a good amount of work. 16 Lings could be coming to try and punish this, because there isn't too much on the field yet, and there's obviously the investment in trying to get the reactor down in the Hellions. So there is a small window of opportunity, especially with speed on its way. Azamato does need to be a little bit cautious about this, but his Reapers are in a position where he can see what's going on. If worse comes to worse, and the Lings just decide, hey, let's go all in. Let's go for it. Let's go and try and deal some counter damage. The Reapers, well, they can kite unless, of course, they get surrounded. 1 goes down. Okay, the next one is in a bit of trouble now. The Zerglings are going to try and chase it, but a lot of Zerglings have been seen. This should trigger a response. Additional supply depots attempting to get placed to form a wall off. That's not going to work. There's just too much there. The next Reaper did get taken out as well. Zerglings are coming forward. The Hellions get surrounded. This could be a bit of a problem because, of course, with the Hellions going down, well, frankly, problems will start appearing because there's now very little in order to defend this. The natural being forced to lift. The 2 mules were there and they were just cooled down. Oh, that hurts the Terran within me to know that those 2 mules aren't going to be able to return their minerals. They're going to die. The Hellions, though, now on the ramp mean that this Warlock will never die. These supply depots, though, probably will. 2 get cancelled, so that's only 50 minerals lost, but it's going to be 250 minerals lost straight away. And potentially supply blocking, not quite, only going down to 38, but still, 30 supply isn't great. There is a Roach coming behind this too. Just ready to deal with the Hellions that will be on their way. Of course, these mules can just be left. Sending all the Lings over to attack these 2 mules would mean that the Hellions could take shots at them from a high ground and probably kill some. Wouldn't be ideal. Medevac is boosting down. Just going to take a quick little peek at everything here. Just going to say, okay, how many Lings do you have? Is there full on to this? Plus 2 Queens back at home for Ghost. He's just going to be pushing that creep forward, making sure things are going good, things are going safe, and really he's got good vision, because the creep serves 2 purposes against Terran, right? The first one is it gives you scouting information. That's pretty good. You know, you get a bit of an early warning system of any units that are coming out. Secondly, though, Terran players really don't want to engage on creep, mainly because the Zergling speed is so much quicker, especially early on with the Hellions and stuff. Engaging on creep is difficult because Speedlings will be able to get the surround so simply and easily. Don't really want that to happen. The Queens do need to make sure, though, that they keep the active creep tumors safe as they move forward, more getting placed down, more kind of diving through the ground as those funny creep worm thingies. I think they're so cool. I love the creep worm thingies. That was one of the... I know this is really sad, but that was one of my favourite additions in Heart of the Swarm, was how creep started to spread in just such a more awesome way. Lame, I know, but what can I say? I like it. Anyway, double Evo chambers. They are on their way down. We do, of course, have the extractor here. It's all looking good. Third hatchery is on its way, and this third may seem really late at 9 minutes 20, but remember, the natural CC still hasn't come back down yet. Azamato, not feeling safe. He could have done it, mind you. I don't know when he last scanned. If I switch over to his vision and take a quick peek, I don't think he's seen too much recently, because if he'd scanned anytime soon, he would have seen the evolution chambers and of course the Roach run. Would have seen there's not really too much going on. So sending that scan in probably would be a good idea. Just scanning a bit more frequently. Maybe if you want to feel safe to move this down, just get the scan done. You definitely could have done it. There's not really any vision around. Azamato could have taken this base a bit sooner and get it back mining, because he has taken a big hit in terms of the income. And also because he's been muling in his main will mine out faster, resulting in the third base being required a little bit sooner. Obviously, small things like that are problematic. Love the Viking though. The Viking is amazing. Every Terran player in the world ever should always make one Viking against Zerg, because look, do you know how free that Overlord was? It was totally free. Doesn't supply block Ghost, but it could have done. There are also a couple of other Overlords sitting around which could have got taken out by that Viking first, but hey, why not go for the difficult ones and come back for the easy targets? More mines are on the way out. I actually hate Widow Mines with a passion, because when I play Zerg, Widow Mines own me so hardcore. Just can't deal with them. I know how to deal with them. I know how you're meant to do it. Especially with the Overseer speed buff, you can just get Overseer with some Mutalisk, pick him off, la-ti-da-ti-da, everything's fine and happy. In reality, though, Widow Mines kill all my stuff, and I get sad. Spore Crawlers down, though. Just drop prevention, really. This is quite a few spores. It's quite a commitment getting that many out. The Overlord trying to get saved, won't get saved. Will supply block Ghost now. Very annoying getting that supply block in there. That means the third's going to get drone saturated a little bit later. Overlord's 4 in production. Pretty late, but yeah, that's cool. Command Center also going down. Third CC, of course, as I mentioned earlier, is quite important to get things going quite nicely. Everything just trickling along, just as trickling along should be. Just additional creep spread also on its way. Things looking fairly positive there. No, mind you though, there's not really been any aggression from Azamato yet. He can't drop into the main, fair enough, but the natural base is a bit more exposed. Only one Spore Crawler there. Really just trying to punish a Zerg being too greedy is always good, but arguably not a very greedy Zerg player here. The Evolution Chamber is only just upgrading 1-1 now, and that will lead to the upgrades being pretty equal if, since double upgrades are on their way. It's a rough, like, 40-second advantage. That's not huge in game terms. It's okay, but it's quite a small window of opportunity. You'd have to hit that pretty solidly. Medevac is coming in. Of course, it is filled with Widow Mines, but with the Spore Crawler, protection is granted. Unfortunately, the drones are not going to necessarily get pulled in time. A couple of drone kills will go down. Unfortunately, for 4 Widow Mines, there was only 4 workers killed, so not really worthwhile. It just delayed a bit of mining time there. And could have been a bit better. 20 drones following it up as well. Widowmine drops them in the main are doing a lot more damage and good hits there. In total now, 15 workers killed. That definitely justified all 8 of the Widow Mines. They're going to get cleaned up anyway, but yeah, that was worthwhile killing those drones out, and it has actually leveled out the work count a little bit more. Third orbit command, of course, is still morphing in. That's when good times start coming down, because when you get this third orbit command, you're going to be able to get some more mules. You also need to flow down sooner, because if you remember back at the start of the game, the natural wasn't secured for quite a long time, so the main was muled heavily. That means it's mined out pretty soon, so you've got to get that third up. I'm suggesting this third just purely because it's the one that Terran and Protoss players usually take. Zergs always take this third, and let me just briefly, because I don't think anything's going to happen imminently, explain why this third is taken by Zergs. The big reason is because of this. You can defend this area Zerg easily. You're able to get nice concaves, nice surrounds, and pushing in is difficult. Now, the reason this base isn't so great is 1, you have to take out these destructible rocks, and 2, you're then trying to defend 2 areas as Zerg. And that can be more tough. There's this area in the center which makes things a little bit awkward. Meanwhile, for Terran players, taking this third is generally the norm, just because then you can use these rocks as an extra defensive position. But Azamato is going to come and take the third down here. I'm still okay with that. It's not something that is disastrously bad. It's just, generally speaking, it's this base because the rocks can be taken out and you can get into a nice defense position. But yeah, Widow Mine's just going to be scaring off this push. Oh my goodness, this is good. The rock tower getting knocked down by Azamato, so he can come in to the drop into the main base, and suddenly the units are going to take longer to get down, and there's still the retreat path there. Going to make things very interesting. The medevac taking a couple shots from the spore, but will be able to get cleaned up. 2 medevacs full of Widow Mines headed towards the third base. There was a couple of spore crawlers though, so that damage will be quite nice. Unfortunately, spores in the main getting taken out now. All of the army pulled back. That means very little in order to defend. These medevacs trying to drop out their load as fast as they can. The Widow Mines heading on in. Spine crawlers are of course going to start chipping away at them. Will the Widow Mine be able to get it shot off in time? Yes, it will. Good hit. 2 Widow Mines, 2 nice shots. Hellions are going up against, unfortunately, Queens. They don't fare too well there. Total, now 20 workers killed. Ghost is still ahead in the worker count sliding. There was a burrowed Zergling there. Very frustrating. This means that it couldn't land. Had to waste the scan. That's a mule that's not going to exist. Main base, still getting mined out quite quickly. Again, though, I'm not traumatized by it. 2-2 upgrades coming down now for GhOstLV, but for Azamato, he's not started 2-2 yet. He does need to look at keeping his upgrades going. The armory's there. And the reason now keeping upgrades going is important is just because you want to do it. One thing to note though, the macro for Azamato, considerably better. Look at how low his unspent resources are compared to that of Ghost. Ghost has no reason to have that many unspent resources, just to be fair, because he's sitting there not maxed out. Ghost should really be spending his lava. He's not lava starved either. He's got 8 lava sitting there, so he's just not spending money, and he's not got any key tech structures just finished up or anything like that that he's saving for. Basically, macro could be improved. It's a really easy area to improve in your gameplay. It's just getting your macro better. Azamato, though, he's just consistently staying around, well, the 500 mark of resources at 18 minutes into the game. That's fine. All Banelings are rolling forward. They get some nice detonations. Widow Mines are all taken out, unfortunately. The Roach is trying to plow forward. A couple more Widow Mines are there, but unfortunately their shots have gone off. The Marines and Marauders trying to do some nice damage. The medevac count incredibly low, only 3 of them on the field, 2 of which are of course in the main base and not getting involved, and Maker needs to be making sure that he keeps good control with his army. The Marauder count is okay here, should help with the rotors, but the problem is without medevac, stimming is such a luxury. And you don't want to have stim as a luxury when a push is coming in towards you like that. You want to make sure that stim is always going down good. So yeah, at the moment, this is looking okay actually. Nothing too scary. Really going on, everything about where it needs to be, and yeah, my concern is only for Ghost, because his 4th is only just now getting taken. Interesting that he's taking the 4th up here. Most Zergs do take this 4th or double expand, and he may actually be double expanding. Oh, nearly rolled some Banelings into rocks. The amount of times I've rolled Banelings into rocks makes me want to cry. If I had an esport dollar for every Baneling that had rolled into a rock by a misclick, I'd be a slightly richer caster. Which would be quite good. Of course, any player you ask will assume that even as not a massive name caster, I earn all of the esports dollars. It is not true. It is definitely not true. Burrowed Banelings though are true, and Burrowed Banelings make me happy. This is a Burrowed Baneling, right? This is a Burrowed Baneling 2.0. The reason it's 2.0 is because that explodes once. that explodes every time it's off cooldown. Seems pretty good to me. And it explodes automatically. That's another thing to add. It explodes at just the right time. So, double drop coming in towards the main base. Meanwhile, double drop also coming in towards the third. Unfortunately, one of these medevacs taking quite a bit of fire. That means escape may be futile. No units around here for the moment, though. They are going to get pulled back, but they're all going to get pulled towards this third. The infestation pit is going to get sniped. Unfortunately, Pathogen Glands is already done, and there's 11 infestors on their way out. The drop into the main has to be careful. There are so many spore crawlers here, but find a nice little window of opportunity. Unfortunately, the infestors burrowing up. They could drop down a fungal growth and a lot of infested terrans if they so wish. The drop of the third now cleaned down. A couple of queens getting focused. Of course, we can take the queens out. They're on lava injects. They're on lava injects. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, there are not many lava. No lava, bad times. The one advantage of taking out the infestation pit is that, of course, the hive can't get started. A little bit of lag there. Not quite sure what caused that, but yeah, all together now, I'd say this is alright for Azamato. He's up in workers. He's done some consistent damage throughout. He's now got 36 worker kills. The fourth base isn't working yet for Ghost. Ghost is not going up to Hive Tech because his infestation pit was taken out. So he's just sitting on Roach, Baneling, Zergling, Infestor. A bit of a strange composition there. The roaches ideally could get taken out. And the reason I'd say the roaches should get taken out or sacrificed pretty much is because they're inefficient supply. But then Ghost isn't supply block. Oh, the bailing hits! The burrow bailing hits were good, ladies and gentlemen. And of course some of the that fungal growth went a bit AWOL, but yeah, the first one was quite nice. Widowmine hits though are starting to go off. Most of the bailings have been taken out. The infestors though still have a good amount of energy for fungal growth, but the Widowmine's alive. That means they're going to go off cooldown. The Bailings, of course, once they detonate, dead and gone. Still more Burrow Bailings sitting up here, not doing too much. I really hope they do at some point. A couple of Zerglings just chilling down. Not quite sure what they're up to. The Infestors ready for a mass infested Terran place. Drop, though, up in the main base. Sees the hive climbing. Going to get the other queen. And, of course, that means injects are now pretty much gone. The fungal growths are still going down. A couple of infested Terrans getting thrown out. The Widow Mines should get a few nice hits. Do manage to get a couple of nice hits. Good hit on the Bailings there. Azamato microing back as best he can, trying to spread his units just because the Bailings have made it through, or at least a couple of them have pick up. The Infestors try to get the fungal growth on the medevacs, but won't be able to do so. So retreat in full force at the moment. And yeah, a couple of Infestors just going to come waddling forward. These three Infestors still have not released their deadly infested Terran payload. They've got a good amount of energy. This base could be dead. It really could be dead. Very, very dead. The Widowmine's still chilling down here. A couple of Burrow Bailings are still about, but Roaches and Infestors can try and move straight into these bunkers. Got to be careful in doing that because there's 3 bunkers up. That's a good amount of damage. The Infested Terrans slowly getting chucked out. Streams of Zerglings on their way through. But all getting cleaned up by the bunker position, so that's relatively solid. Worker count is still in Azamato's favour. Remember, Azamato's starting to get a little bit low at his natural. Could do with floating that 4th command centre over to the 4th. Just to get that better income. That would be a consistent thing, as I'd say. You can take bases quicker, Azamato. If you're watching this, you can definitely take them slightly faster. But, oh, there goes the infested Terran payload. The SCV kill count went up a little bit. More got pulled. Lucky to over command. Floats away to safety. And the infested Terrans will now get cleaned up. These 3 Widow Mines still chilling about. If these Bailings meet these Widow Mines, it's going to be a sad Zerg. A very sad Zerg. Missile turrets now coming down for detection as well, just to make sure things are going safe. And you know about where those infested turns are coming in. The Ultralisk Cavern on its way down for Ghost. Ultras, good times. Reason Ultras are good is quite simple actually. Because against Widow Mines they can tank up all of the damage. And against Marines and Marauders, if you get a good fungal growth down, they come over and they're like, nom 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 nom. Okay, I just mimed something, and I'm going to give you all the pleasure of doing it. Ultralisks, when they get in range of infantry, go nom 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 nom. Just like that. I can't believe I just did that on the stream, and it's going to go to YouTube as well. But you've all seen it, that's what Ultralisks do. Nom 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 nom. And I just saw it on the preview screen. Oh dear lord, why did I do that? Anyway, so, Burrow Bailings are still here. Seriously, this is like the biggest amount of anticipation ever. This is like when your favourite TV show finishes a series and you're just like, what? And they're just sitting there and you've got Bailings all around. Yeah, Bailings still sitting there. There's never been a TV show where there's Bailings all around, but a TV show ends on a cliffhanger of someone's about to die. That's what those Burrow Bailings are. They're a cliffhanger that someone is about to die. And this okay. Oh, no, not. Oh, that money scan takes out the Burrow Bailings and safety has been assured. Oh yeah, Azamato, you should feel pro for that. That was good. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done. Ultralists, though, are coming out into the field. There's already a couple of Ultralists on the field. The Widow Mines. Oh, the Widow Mines get a hit. Of course, Widow Mines getting hits good. Banelings killing Widow Mines. Meh. That's not ideal. More Banelings being forced to morph in. The fourth base still chilling here, but look at that. A pesky burrowed Zergling is denying it coming down, but a couple of Marines, a couple of Marauders, and one-time scan means that Zergling is no more. Unfortunately, the scan part is not yet achieved. Double drop coming down again. Actually, it's a quadruple drop because there's 2 medevacs on each one. The Ultralist now seeing being popped. This should trigger a lot more Marauder production if it hasn't been seen already. Unfortunately, the medevacs up at the 4th got taken out because there are so many Spore Crawlers. So many of them. The Ultra's trying to get kited. If you do actually get an Ultra kill, that'd be great. The Transfuse did go down, so nicely done there. Ultra's still getting pulled over. The Marauder's still only being produced a few at a time. The Marauder count staying at 15. Need a couple more Marauders, as many Marauders as you actually can up against Ultras. But then they're not so great against the Zerglings. But Banelings can also soak up some damage. A couple of Widowmine hits are going to go down, but unfortunately the splash damage kills a few of the infantry too there. Not ideal. But yeah, 4th base up and running. 5th Planetary Fortress sitting there. Unfortunately, there are some units heading towards that 5th. As well as Overseers going with the army just to make sure there's no Widow Mines. And oh, the Planetary Fortress. Come on, Planetary. You can kill that Ultra. Come on, just one more shot. There we go. Probably not going to be able to achieve too much more. Banelings and Ultras, as well as some Burrowed Banelings sitting there. Just going to try and act as a scare away. Unfortunately, the Planetary Fortress will die. That means that it's a 4-base situation now, but with the mine out at the natural, whereas a couple of mining still going on, it's still looking okay. But Ghost has got up to now 60 drones compared to 42 SCVs. Push is trying to go in, trying to deal a bit more damage. Yeah, the Widow Mine just scattered on for what seems like all eternity. The Widow Mine hits do need to be good though. That was quite a nice hit there. We do still have, of course, the bunkers up. The Widow Mine's still in a relatively good spot. In terms of resources lost, Ghost has lost about 1,000 more resources than his opponent. 30 minutes into this game, losing 1,000 more resources, that makes this game very equal. The incomes are pretty similar too. The difference being that Azamato doesn't have much gas, but he's going quite marine heavy actually, and he's still got 1,000 gas banked up. Ghost, he might be mining more gas, but he has no gas shortage in the slightest. He's got 5,000 Vespian banked up and could actually do with expanding more. He needs more hatcheries and more mineral income. And he needs it now. Actually, he doesn't need it now. He needs it 5 minutes ago just to make sure that those minerals are getting spent quite nicely. But yeah, in comes some speedlings. Just gonna pick up some units. Nothing great, nothing fantastic, but some free units nonetheless, giving you about a 1,200 additional resource trade there. No more drops coming down at the moment though. Really just quite a defensive play. This base will have to be retaken at some point, but of course Burrowed Banelings are still chilling about. The Zergling going to go and check on that. Ghost coming over the top, going to try and take a little peek. I'll be like, okay, can I engage here? Can I get a good engagement? Well, the Widow Mines aren't burrowed. That's good news for me. Banelings trying to come in. Detonate mainly on Marauders though. More Widow Mines burrowing up. Of course, the Overseers are there, going to keep a good eye. And oh no, I clicked the vision button, which means my keyboard's going to go crazy as the engagement comes down. Oh, in comes a lot of units. Microing back on to the Widow Mines. The infantry does still stay up. And the Marauders are now in a bit of trouble. There's 2 infestors with full energy, so they could have grew up a fungal growth if it was required in order to defend it. But yeah, the fungal growth didn't really need to achieve too much. And yeah, it wasn't required. Obviously, bit more energy banking up on those infestors. All good news, everything looking fairly solid. 5th command center once more is going to be coming down. You could actually look now at floating this orbital command somewhere else, just due to the fact that it's doing nothing here. There's no gas in the refineries and there's no minerals, so why keep your command there? Good push up here though towards the 4th base. This could be a very, very powerful push for Azamato if he takes out the hatchery. The Widow Mines are there. They do get a fungal growth on them. A couple of detonations going on the Ultras. Actually, most of the detonations going down on the Ultras. And oh my goodness, there is a lot of them. The fungal growth though, not quite connecting yet to really allow the Ultras to close up the distance. But unfortunately, very little focus fire just at the start meant that some of these Ultras are taking a while to get taken out. A lot on low health. Will get focused down. 1 Ultra remaining while the push gets cleaned up. That seemed like quite a good trade for Azamato. Just because he picked off the Ultras, he may have lost a bit more, but he picked down the Ultras. If he got the hatchery, it definitely would have been worthwhile, but counter push will now be coming in. More Zerglings on their way out, more Banelings getting morphed through. No more Ultras for the time being, a lot more Banelings, actually 16 in total. The Infestor count is down, is at 10. There's also this 1 lone Swarm host. I don't quite know the purpose of this foremost. Marauders wandering over the banelings. Just going to go and kill that Zergling. Make sure it's pretty dead-like. Doesn't seem to be burrow banelings though with those Marauders. That's a little bit frustrating, but it's not the end of the world. It just means he's got to be careful if he moves his army up there to go and defend. So now we could see the plays of the game by Ghost if he came and attacked this base and wait for the army to come up and then killed it. That'd be pretty cool for Ghost, and for us watching. Wouldn't be so cool for Azamato though. I don't think he'd quite like that. Or maybe he would. Maybe he'd just be a cool guy about it and be like, wow, that was good control. 5th base is coming up here too. This is kind of a redundancy base. Ooh, 6th base coming down as well. This is going to get cancelled if these medevacs are stopped, but they're not going to be stopped. Just going up to the current mining base there anyway. Oh no, the burrowed banelings! The burrowed banelings! The burrowed banelings will not detonate. That was anticlimactic. Drop. Still coming down through here. All looking okay at the moment. The burrowed banelings were selected for a second. Got to wait for the movement. The hatchery gets taken down at the 4th. That is huge, the fact that that hatchery went down, because suddenly the income's going to go down. The burrowed banelings don't detonate. And that is, once again, pretty anticlimactic. Oh, burrowed banelings don't detonate again. They did actually detonate there, but didn't kill anything. Simultaneously, they were pushing towards the natural and the 3rd. We've got banelings, got ultras rolling on forward, and the infestors scurrying along behind. Just going to try and get some good fungal growths down. The banelings getting focused down pretty effectively, I'm going to be honest, but that was a good fungal growth, locking down all of the Madals too, but chain fungals will be required. Meanwhile, the drop's still going on at the 4th base of Ghost, and Ghost, he's got to be careful because his mineral income and gas income is now microscopically small. A lot of infested Terrans are getting thrown out. This one lone ultra will die. Good hiding there by Azamato. Azamato's drop still going on. Nice. The drone countdown to 21 for Ghost. And he's going to GG out there. So Azamato, in a very long game, actually a 36-minute game, is going to take the win. Done very nicely there. If you are on my YouTube channel, of course, like the video, leave a cool comment and subscribe. Then flick over and watch some more games on my channel for the daily uploads. And yeah, if you're on Twitch, make sure you follow this stream. I do loads of casting now on stream, and I'll be back on camera in just a second.